A friend of mine submitted this paranormal experience that happened to her a long time ago. Here is the ghostly encounter she had, told in her own words. When I was a young woman, I lived in northern Wisconsin. I was working, but not making much money. So I rented a trailer at the edge of town. It was in a wooded area with thick, heavy trees. I lived there alone, but I didn't mind because I was busy and gone all day. It wasn't a great place. The landlady had not installed a stove, so I cooked on a hot plate. I bought second-hand furniture to fill the living room. Once I moved in, I noticed that there was something dark about the back bedroom. Whenever I walked in there, I didn't feel good. The air felt thick and heavy. So I closed off that room and never went in there. Instead, I slept in the middle bedroom, which was smaller and felt cozier. My bedroom was across the hall from the side door of the trailer. Sometimes, at night, the door would open and I would awaken to hear and see the door flapping in the wind. I would get up to shut it and then try to go back to sleep. But it gave me an uneasy feeling. And soon I started sleeping in the living room. I made my bed on the couch. One night, as I was sleeping, I was awakened by the sense of someone standing next to me. It seemed like a short person. I felt this entity place its hand on the top of my head. I could feel its touch, just as if it was a real person. I bolted out of sleep and off the couch. My heart was racing. That night, I packed a bag and went to a nearby hotel to sleep. I soon moved out of that place. Later, I found out that a young girl had died in that area. There was a creek that ran behind the woods behind the trailer park. She had drowned there. And I wondered if what had come to me that night was that little girl, her spirit caught in this world. This true paranormal experience was published in Your Haunted Lives Extreme Edition compilation by G. Michael Vasey. I have paraphrased the events here. To read the submitted story, see his book. A link is in the description box. In the submitted story, a woman named Sue says that she lost a child during pregnancy. Years later, she became pregnant again and started hearing noises upstairs in their house. She was about 5 months pregnant when she and her husband began hearing sounds like somebody running upstairs. And sometimes it sounded like whoever it was coming down the stairs. Sue and her husband would stop what they were doing and take a look to see who or what was making the noise, but they never saw anything. She also noticed that items she had bought for the new baby went missing. Shortly after this started happening, her neighbor came by and wanted to know who the children were that she was seeing in the upstairs windows. She said she could see children laughing and playing. The neighbor was concerned because she heard her own son talking baby talk to an invisible person. She also said that her 1-year-old son had been able to get out of his crib and make his way downstairs. She said she turned on the light and saw her child holding up his hand in the air as though somebody were holding on to it. His hand dropped to his side when she turned on the light. The neighbor was so concerned about all the strange events that she called a psychic medium to help her. Several weeks later, The neighbor came back and told Sue what the medium had said. The medium claimed that there were 2 ghost children in Sue's house. She said one ghost child belonged to the neighbor and one belonged to Sue. The medium gave the name Rebecca and said the child ghost, a girl, was about 7 years old. The other ghost child was a boy and would not give his name when asked by the medium. The first baby that Sue lost would have been 7 years old, and after checking her diary from back then, she confirmed she had wanted to name the child Rebecca. The medium told the neighbor that they could ask the ghost children to leave, but these were their children and it was their job to help them. Sue said, "I asked them to be quiet, and they were." When my son was born, the baby monitor picked up children chattering, although I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it sounded as if they were playing. I heard this on a couple of occasions. Sue said the paranormal events quieted down after that. When her daughter would have turned 18, Sue was alone in the house at the time and was thinking about her daughter and told her that she loved her. And Sue swears that she heard someone behind her say, "I love you too." What do you think? Do children who weren't born hang around their parents? Have you had any of these types of ghostly paranormal visits? I would love to hear your true stories. Put them in the comment section or email me. And have an amazing day in this bizarre paranormal world we live in.